I'd like to call the meeting to order. Ariel, will you call the roll, please?
Tom Glanville.
Here.
J.R. Huddleston.
Here.
Deborah Johnston. Here. Bill Lukens.
Here.
Melissa Niles. Here. Travis Orback. Larry Pratt.
Here.
Linda Barbell.
Here.
Thank you. Join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As always, council, remind you if you have a conflict of interest, please let the rest of the council know before you vote. Can I get a motion to approve an amended agenda? We have a number of changes. The first one is to the current claims. The original amount of $268,754.64. That starting amount should be $286,754.64. So that's the amount that we should start with. And we have three changes. First one is on page 3. Ariel will keep me on track. First one is for Ace Hardware. That amount is reduced by 20 cents. So it will become a new amount of $28.79. On page 11, MG Oil, that amount is reduced down to $1,346.73 from the original $1,992.49 to a new amount $1,346.73. The last amount is on page 13 for complete concrete. The second amount of $60,000 is reduced to $50,000 for a new amount of $935.52. So with those three changes, the new total for current claims is $276,108.68. And the final change, I'm asking you to approve removing new business item P, which is a travel training request from the Development Coordinator Scott Soper. So three changes to current claims to bring the new total to $276,108.68 and removing new business item P.
I would like to make a motion to approve an amended agenda. First amendment will be to change the current claim from $286,754.64 to a new total of $276,108.68. In that, current claims, page 3, reducing, Ace Hardware reducing by 20 cents to $28.79. On page 11, for MG Oil, a new total of $1,346.73. Item 13, page 13, complete concrete, instead of $60,000, it is now $50,000, making that total $137,935.52, and therefore making the overall total $276,108.68. And final item to remove new business, item P, which is travel training request from Development Coordinator Scott Sobey to attend Code Enforcement Information and Training Conference for Peer.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the April 15th council meeting?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 15th council meeting.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the bills in between?
Make a motion to approve the bills in between for $328,474.62.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And can I get a motion to approve an amended current claims?
Make a motion to approve the amended current claims of $276,108.68.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the Wells Fargo credit card claims?
I make a motion to approve the Wells Fargo credit card claims of $9,863.18.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Communications from the public. Do we have anyone here that would like to address the council? Yes, sir.
Stand anywhere?
If you'd like to get closer, that's fine. Wherever you're comfortable. Just give us your name and your address, please.
John Feldy, 209 North 16th Street. My wife and I are new to this town, and there's a lot of reasons we moved here, and one of them right the way the town is. And now we have an employee that wants to clean the town and get involved in people's personal property. They're on my property videotaping, which I'm certainly not appreciative. But I've talked to a lot of people in town, and they actually like the way the town is. There's many towns where you can go where it's just all manicured lawns and no personality whatsoever. Here, I can see old cars, trucks, motorcycles, hell, we've got a weasel sitting in town, which is cool. And that's what I'd like to see this town stay as. And when I talk to the people and looking around town, the majority of the people agree with that. So I'm not some newcomer that wants to change things. I want to keep this town the same. And our employee doesn't even live in this town, wants to administer to the rest of us on how we should live. I don't think that's right. And I can get a whole group of people in here that would like to see it stay the same. And I would like to see the city attend to public properties first before they come on ours. We've got this demolition by neglect. Look at City Hall. Go behind the City Hall and see how much maintenance that building needs. Kidney Springs, that structure there is in great need of repair. We have 2 condemned staircases here, but yet you're gonna worry about if I have too many cars on my property or some other stuff. So, like I say, I'm new here, I'm not trying to cause trouble or to create something new, I'd like to keep it the same. That's why we moved here, and I think a lot of people like that. There's plenty of other towns that people can live in if they want just manicured lawns. So, any questions or comments for me? And I also think that if we don't have the money to maintain what we have, why are we hiring someone to go out and find problems? And as far as addressing complaints, what does it take to be a complainant? We've got all kinds of them. They don't really do anything except complain because they're miserable.
Okay.
Anything else? Be glad to answer questions. I mean, where I come from, this is how it all starts.
Yeah. What I'd like you to do, John,
Yes.
is get on the agenda for the next council meeting
Okay?
to address the council. The reason I'd like you to do that is, in this particular communication from the public, we limit it to 5 minutes,
Yep.
so that we don't get into prolonged conversations
Sure.
with everybody. There are answers to your questions. The first one that I would like to mention, I'm going to against what we should be doing, but I think it's fair to say that when you say someone who doesn't even live in town, he's doing what the council has instructed him to do. So he hasn't taken it upon himself to do this, he's doing what council has requested him to do. And that's why I want to have a bigger conversation with you, so we can give you the more details of that.
Sure.
When you talk about the staircases, we do have a direction we're headed with those. So I
But
think
they've been neglected for a long time.
well, they are, but again, we have something in front of us, that we'd like to get taken care of. So I'd like to have that longer discussion with you, or if you'd like to come down to City Hall, talk with myself or Bob, we can certainly do that. I don't want
Yeah, I
to.
would like to have this discussion because I don't want to live in a town that we just left. And as I see freedoms are disappearing rapidly in our country, and private property is where all freedoms stem from. And people have different wants and desires, and I don't know why we always just cater to the one. And when you look around town, I know some people don't like it, but we have a lot of really cool vehicles in town. And I'm one that enjoys viewing that.
So asking you to get on the council, the next agenda.
Sure.
Talk with Ariel or Misty, and then just be a matter of your name and what you want to talk to the council about. That opens us up for the bigger discussion. So for this particular one, council is going to be asking you questions or responding, and simply listening to your concerns.
I will be out of town for that one, but I will make the first one in June.
Yeah, whatever one works for you.
I thought this young lady here be on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then call there should be anything.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. We have a couple of proclamations. First one is a National Poppy Day. We do this every year. So this is Office of the Mayor, Hot Springs, South Dakota Proclamation, National Poppy Day. Whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers. And whereas millions have answered the call to arms, have died on the field of battle, and whereas a nation of peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war. And whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars. And whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Now therefore, I, Bob Nelson, do hereby proclaim the 24th day of May, 2024 as National Poppy Day, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing a memorial poppy on this day. I don't see anyone here from the American Legion Auxiliary, but I do have a proclamation with the city seal on it that will make sure that they do. The next one is National Water Safety Month. This one is from Governor Nome. Executive Proclamation, State of South Dakota, Office of the Governor. Whereas swimming and aquatic-related activities lead to good physical and mental health and enhance the quality of life for all people. And whereas education regarding water safety plays an essential role in preventing drownings and recreational water-related injuries. And whereas the organizations involved in the National Water Safety Month Coalition make incredible contributions to develop safe swimming facilities, aquatic programs, home pools and spas, and related activities. And whereas we are thankful for the ongoing efforts and commitments to educate the public on pool and spa safety issues and initiatives by the pool, spa, water park, recreation, and parks industries. And whereas it is vitally important that we communicate water safety rules and programs to families and individuals of all ages, whether owners of private pools, users of public swimming facilities, or visitors to water parks. Now therefore, I, Christine Nome, Governor of the State of South Dakota, do hereby proclaim May 24, 2024 as Water Safety Month in South Dakota, and I urge all those in the state to support and promote this observance. It goes without saying that the city of Hot Springs owns the oldest original tourist attraction, Evans Plunge in South Dakota, and that's certainly all about water and swimming. The next two, the Drinking Water Excellence Award, and the council updates, both of those will be by, we need Tracy Bastian, our city engineer, to be a part of those. He anticipates joining us around 7:35, so we'll just keep working on the agenda here when Tracy joins us, and then we'll bounce back to the Drinking Water Excellence Award and council updates from Tracy. So the next one, council update, is from myself on the wayfinding study report. Last Wednesday, I believe it was, Deborah, Bill, Hal, myself, and Kara Hagan met with Kyle Reinecke from ISG. ISG is the company that we've hired to help us with our wayfinding. The new signs will be going up throughout town. We've been meeting for just a little over a year to get all this figured out. With this last meeting, I feel like we're real close to having that taken care of. We identified 17 wayfinding signs that will actually go on our streetlights. 7 that will be post-mounted signs. 4 kiosks that will actually show a map of the city with all the different businesses on it. And those kiosks, actually there's 3 kiosks. We eliminated 1. 3 of the kiosks, 3 kiosks will be in Centennial Park, down here at the Mueller Center. Never helped me with the 3rd one.
At the depot.
At the depot. And looking at those amounts, total of those signs, we're looking at around $58,000 to get those taken care of. The bid board and the chamber are talking about helping us out with those costs. The plan is to start on the south end of town where the road projects have been completed and put up the new wayfinding signs as they become available. I've asked Bill to help us understand where potential funding for those signs will come from. Bill, if you could walk through what we talked about.
Okay. Previous councils have earmarked about $517,420 in the 212 fund, and that's the 1/3 of the city sales tax. So in past years, council have set aside that much money for highway reconstruction related costs, mostly associated with the new street lights. The new street lights are going to cost us about $348,100. The study and engineering that ISG has provided costs a little around $21,000 or $27,000. I apologize, I don't have that number. The city has already paid a portion of that money in 2023. So there's $10,978 remaining that will need to come out of the 212 fund this year, along with the $58,000. So with what we have earmarked in the 212 funds, we'll utilize about $417,078 for lighting, paying off ISG for their work, and the $58,000 for the wayfinding signs. So there is money in the 212 fund that has been earmarked for the lighting and the wayfinding sign project. Is that, any questions?
So we think we're in a good position to get all the signs taken care of, get them up as the road project completes itself. Al, okay?
No, it's been a process, just making sure all the arrows are going the right directions was a process. And we hope that the design and the colors will be palatable to everyone and give the town some class and nod to its historic nature.
I guess I came into the wayfinding sign project, the mayor and Deb and folks like Kara have really done the heavy lifting on this, and so I kind of came in late when I got involved in public works, but one of the first things I noticed on this, that I really believe it's gonna make Hot Springs look like a destination. With the placement of the signs, the information that's gonna be on the signs, I think it's gonna help tourists think, oh, I need to spend some time here, as opposed to, I'm gonna drive through here so I can get somewhere else in the Black Hills. So it's, I really think it's gonna help our community be a destination.
So what we've been going through is the first in a number of steps. This is identifying where we want the signs, what we want on the signs, the look of the signs, and then once that's all settled, and we feel like we've got it where we need it to be, then we'll certainly present that to council so that you can see all the work that's been done, where the signs are going to be, the colors of them, because you then need to approve the location of those signs, so that can then go to DOT, so that they can approve the signs being on their state highway. And once that happens, then we can begin purchasing the signs we can put up. So as far as council, this, what we've been going through now is just the first part of a three-part step actually to get us to what happened, wayfinding signs going up along Highway 385. Any questions?
I heard you say all the numbers there, and I want to play devil's advocate. In case it goes horribly wrong, is there a backup plan? As far as paying?
Well, this kind of money has to come out of the 212. This money has been set aside. There is more money in the set aside. More money was set aside than is needed for the lighting and the signage. So as the mayor said, we're really in a good spot.
We did pay extra for the antique looking lighting that you've seen going up. If we hadn't have spent the extra money, all the lights would have looked like the lights out by, as you're coming into town, from Taco John's to the Dip Bridge. There's just those sterile, tall, silver-looking things. So we did splurge for the more time. What's the word I'm
Period
looking
looking
for?
lighting.
Huh?
Period looking lighting.
Period looking, time period looking, thank you, signs, or lights. So that was a splurge, but when you're talking about years to come, they will be worth their money over time. And that's what we took the same attitude with the signage as well.
And what Deborah's talking about as far as a previous council approving the historic lights that you see going up as the project is finishing. That was a decision that needed to be made prior to the bid letting of the whole project, so that the state knew what lights to include. As Deborah was saying, had the previous council not made the decision to go with the historic lighting, they would have been the 50-foot sterile lights that are on the bypass. And council was in place at the time. I didn't feel that that was what we wanted in downtown. Any other questions from the public too, if you have any questions regarding what we're talking about here? All right. We'll move on to personnel. If I can get a motion to approve personnel actions A through N.
Make a motion to approve personnel actions, item A through N.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. On to our resolution. Can I get a motion to approve resolution 2024-10, a resolution to amend the citywide fee schedule?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-10, a resolution to amend the citywide fee schedule to lower the airport fuel price to $5.99 per gallon.
Second.
Discussion.
Why is it going into effect? Is everything competitive or not?
Yeah, we've actually been, for the past 2 or 3 months, we've been kind of the high-cost provider. Currently, wholesale prices are about $4.82 per gallon. The average price in a 125-mile radius is $6.21 a gallon. The average price in a 70-mile radius is $6.03 a gallon. As of last Thursday, our inventory was about 2 gallons shy of 6,800 gallons. Airport Advisory Committee has been talking about this every meeting for the last 2 or 3 months. It was felt that if we lowered our price and could increase our sales, we would be in a place where we could take a split load of 4,000 gallons, probably in mid-summer hopefully before wholesale prices went up again. That would put us in a place where we would be ready for not only our own fly-in in early September, but also the Oshkosh fly-in, which is in late July.
End of July.
End of July. So those are typically very high volume times, and just trying to be ready to service our customers without having to pay the higher wholesale prices that will come at the end of the summer.
That was the airport manager.
Airport manager would probably have preferred to leave it alone, but was okay with dropping the price. It's hard to figure out what fuel prices are going to do. It's hard to figure out what oil prices are going to do. Like I say, the committee's been looking at this and discussing it real hard for the last 3 months. We will still have a margin of almost $1.20 a gallon with this downward adjustment. Our goal is to make at least $1 a gallon, and so we'll be making about $1.18.
Any other questions?
I've been asked to share Ivan's thoughts on this using Misty's notes and Ivan's emails, so I'm going to do my best to summarize. Ivan aims to keep our fuel price consistently average in the approximate 125-mile radius from Hot Springs, as applied to the average fuel price within this radius of $6.21, with our current price at $6.20. Maintaining a regional price average minimizes risks. Ivan also shares the hassle that comes with price chasing and the lag of public information when we change prices, taking as long as 30 days for some aviation sites to reflect our prices. We also want to acknowledge that we don't typically allow committees composed of users to set prices, especially when they are different from the manager's recommendation.
Gary, do you have?
I can make some comments as a member of the airport committee and also as an aircraft owner and as a pilot. The fuel prices, I think I was in Sturgis this past weekend. I think they were about $5.79. And I think Philip is about $5.60. And so we are on the upper end at 620. But we gotta look at the bigger picture. You know, people fly in not only to get gas, but they're coming in town, maybe going to town, buying a hamburger, maybe staying in a motel overnight. And we've got two mechanics out there. And everybody that we can bring into the airport are potential customers of theirs. Sales tax, fares. So it's a little bit bigger picture than just the gas. When you look at the gas and the amount of gallons we've sold, I think the difference between 621 and 599 is about $142. So it's the optics. We need to look at a bigger picture. It's the optics.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
No.
Deborah and,
No.
or Larry and, motion passes. On to our new business items. New business item A, getting a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding.
I make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of understanding between Steve and Carlos Shimani and the city of Hot Springs to set forth the terms of understanding which exist between the two parties with respect to the Southern Hills Golf Course retaining wall, a transfer of 2 lots from Shimani's to the city, and the grant of an easement to the city from Shimani's.
Second.
Discussion.
Got one paragraph that was resolved, correct?
Yes. So, council, as you remember, we have been talking about this particular item with our attorneys for a while now. And the memorandum of understanding that was sent out, the final version that was sent out to everybody for your comments. I need to read in its entirety in a public meeting, in this public meeting. So, be patient with me. Memorandum of understanding. The parties to this memorandum of agreement are City of Hot Springs, hereinafter the city, and Carla M. Shimani and Stephen L. Shimani, hereinafter Shimani's. Purpose. The purpose of this memorandum of agreement is to set forth the terms of understanding which exist between the two parties with respect to the transfer of 2 lots from Shimani's to the city and the grant of an easement to the city from Shimani's as described below. Whereas the Shimani's are currently the owners of record of 2 lots near or on the Southern Hills Golf Course owned and operated by the city, which are legally described as Tract 13CP of the Boulder Falls addition to the City of Hot Springs, located in Section 22, Township 7, Range 5, Fall River County, South Dakota, and Tract 14CP of the Boulder Falls addition to the City of Hot Springs, located in Section 2, Township 7, Range 5, Fall River County, South Dakota. According to the plat thereof, recorded in the office of the Register of Deeds in the Book of Plats number 21 on page 50. Whereas the Shimani's originally built a retaining wall around the clubhouse of the Southern Hills Golf Course. Whereas the retaining wall failed in the approximate northwest corner of the clubhouse, not due to the fault in design or construction of the Shimani's, and the city believes that it failed due to water intrusion from insufficient gutters on the clubhouse. Whereas the retaining wall is currently being rebuilt by the city using engineered design plans after a public bid offering. Whereas there is also a portion of the city's golf cart located on Shimani's property, which is owned by Quality Real Estate Inc. and legally described as follows. Lot GC 83 of the Boulder Falls addition to the city of Hot Springs, located in section 22, township 7, range 5, Fall River County, South Dakota. According to the plat thereof, recorded in the office of the Register of Deeds in the book of plats number 21 on page 27, 27A. Now therefore, it is agreed by the parties as follows. That Shamanics will convey by quit or quiet.
Quick.
Quiet claim, quit claim deed, the following described real estate parcels to the city. Tract 13 CP of the Boulder Falls addition to the city of Hot Springs, located in section 22, township 7, range 5, Fall River County, South Dakota, and tract 14 CP of the Boulder Falls addition to the city of Hot Springs, located in section 22, township 7, range 5, Fall River County, South Dakota, according to the plat thereof, recorded in the office of the Register of Deeds in the book of plats number 21 on page 50. And that Shamanics will convey by access easement for the city's cart path on the following described real estate. Lot GC 83 of the Boulder Falls addition to the city of Hot Springs, located in section 22, township 7, range 5, Fall River County, South Dakota, according to the plat thereof, recorded in the office of the Register of Deeds in the book of plats number 21 on page 27, 27A. And in consideration for such, the city agrees to hold Shamanics harmless for any and all repair costs to the clubhouse retaining wall. The city specifically agrees that the Shamanics are in no way responsible for the damage that occurred to the retaining wall surrounding the clubhouse due to any defect in design or construction or any such thing. It is also agreed that this memorandum of understanding will be read by motion at a city council meeting. Accordingly, the minutes will be published in the city's official legal newspaper, the Fall River County Herald Star, dated this 5th day of May, 2024. So again, council, this is what we've been talking with our attorneys about, and this was the agreement that was reached with Shamanics and council. Do you have any other questions, any other comments? Ariel, would you call the roll, please?
Deborah Johnson,
Yes.
Bill Lucas,
Yes?
Melissa Niles,
Yes.
Todd Linville,
Yes.
J.R. Huddleston,
Yes.
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
Linda Marvell.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business item B, can I get a motion to approve and accept the quick claim deed from Stephen L. and Carla M. Shamani?
I make a motion to approve and accept the quit claim deed from Stephen L. and Carla M. Shamanic for tract CP14 and tract CP13 in Boulder Falls Edition, in the Boulder Falls Edition.
Second?
Discussion? So these are the two tracks that are included in the memorandum of understanding that. Ariel, would you call the roll, please?
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
Linda Marvell,
Yes.
Bill Lucas,
Yes?
Melissa Niles,
Yes.
Deborah Johnson,
Yes.
J.R. Huddleston,
Yes.
Todd Linville.
Yes.
The motion passes. On to new business item C. Can I get a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the access easement between Quality Real Estate and the city of Hot Springs?
I make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the access easement between Quality Real Estate and the city of Hot Springs for a permanent access easement for access for golf cart and guests of the city's golf course following the existing cart path.
Second.
Discussion? And this is the easement for the GC
Tyler Huddleston,
Yes.
Bill Lukens,
Yes.
Larry Pratt,
Yes.
Melissa Niles,
Yes.
Linda Barbell,
Yes.
Deborah Johnson,
Yes.
Al Danville.
Yes.
The motion passes. So with those three related items out of the way, let's jump back to now that our city engineer is with us. Austin, we have to leave the door open, it's an open meeting. All right, so we'll go back to our Drinking Water Excellence Award. So this is an award that our water department has gotten for 21 years, 21 consecutive years. So the Department of Agricultural and Natural Resources recognizes the city of Hot Springs for drinking water compliance. On April 2nd, the South Dakota Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources announced the City of Hot Springs Public Water System and the Systems Operations Specialist have been awarded the Secretary's Award for Drinking Water Excellence. Consistent success is a true measure of excellence, said DANR Secretary Hunter Roberts. With more than 21 years of consecutive compliance, the City of Hot Springs has demonstrated its commitment to providing its customers with safe and reliable drinking water. To qualify for the Secretary's Award for Drinking Water Excellence, Public Water Systems and their System Operations Specialist had to meet all of the compliance monitoring and reporting requirements, drinking water standards, and certification requirements for 10 consecutive years or more. So we have some certificates to give. So Tracy, the first one is for the Secretary's Award for Drinking Water Excellence 2023. By virtue of the authority vested in me and after due consideration, I do hereby certify that the City of Hot Springs Public Water System, through extra concern and endeavor, has met all federal and state requirements for safe drinking water and has supplied 21 consecutive years of safe drinking water to the public it serves. Thank you.
You're welcome. Brett, what's the picture?
And then we have individual certificates. Certificate of Achievement 2023. By virtue of the authority vested in me and after due consideration, I do hereby certify that Sean Hiley, through extra concern and endeavor, has enabled the Hot Springs Public Water System to meet all state requirements for safe drinking water and has enabled this drinking water system to supply safe drinking water to the public they serve. So if you give that to Sean. Certificate of Achievement 2023. By the virtue of the authority vested in me and after due consideration, I do hereby certify that Tad Harder, through extra concern and endeavor, has enabled the Hot Springs Public Water System to meet all state requirements for safe drinking water and has enabled this drinking water system to supply safe drinking water to the public they serve. Certificate of Achievement. By virtue of the authority vested in me and after due consideration, I do hereby certify that Peter Miles, through extra concern and endeavor, has enabled the Hot Springs Public Water System to meet all the state requirements for safe drinking water and has enabled this drinking water system to supply safe drinking water to the public they serve. And Certificate of Achievement 2023. By virtue of the authority vested in me and after due consideration, I do hereby certify that Tracy Bastion, through extra concern and endeavor, has enabled the Hot Springs Public Water System to meet all state requirements for safe drinking water and has enabled this drinking water system to supply safe drinking water to the public they serve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Those are the fun parts. Tracy for road project, water and sewer main replacement, suspended sidewalk updates, and the hydrant flow test results.
Okay, yes, I have a little bit more than usual tonight, so. I will start with the road project, which I have written it out this time, because I just wanted to make sure that I covered everything that I wanted to do. Significant progress over the past month in the area of North River Street from the intersection of Minnetonka Avenue and Battle Mountain Avenue. Water and sewer utilities have been completed up to the bridge over Fall River near the courthouse. At this time, water main installation is in progress in the area by the courthouse. Actually, as of today, they're probably less than 100 feet from the intersection with Battle Mountain. So that's coming along very well. The sewer main replacement will be next. And with the completion of all these utilities in this section of North River Street, probably be done, I would say, in the next few weeks. I think we'll see that area be completed. Of course, they'll have some storm sewer to do too, albeit that's not city utilities, but it's still utility installations. So what they do the water main or the sewer, whichever works to do best first, and then they'll do the storm sewer afterwards. And then once the storm sewer is done in that area, then of course they'll start laying the concrete pavement. And good progress on the concrete pavement. I noticed just today, it appears that they have opened some of the new sidewalk now that is in the area near the tap house and that area. I noticed that some of the T-par had been taken down, and you can actually look over and see it. So that was just this afternoon that I noticed that. So progress, very, very much so. So following the utilities installation to the intersection of Battle Mountain Avenue and North River Street, the only remaining utility work is the water main that goes up Battle Mountain. There's no sewer replacement needed in that area. That street actually does not have a sewer main on it. It has a couple that cross it, and they're modern materials. So yeah, the utility part of this is becoming close to the end. So it's been yes, been a long journey. You know, the rate of progress really over the winter, I would say, has been very consistent. A relatively dry winter has been helpful for the crews. There was very few days that they were not working, although I think they wouldn't want to work outside right now with that wind. But yes, they've really done very well. The suspended sidewalk and also the pedestrian bridge installation. You may have noticed some excavation on the north end of Centennial Park and also directly across that. They're putting in the piers, the supports for the second pedestrian bridge. And of course that bridge is complete. It's been in that storage lot between the Scout Center and United Churches for, I think, since last fall. So it's ready. Once they have those piers completed and the cure time has taken place, the actual setting of the bridge goes very quickly. They'll bring in a crane, and all of a sudden, we'll have a second bridge. So that's exciting, really, to see that coming along. Suspended sidewalk, you see some progress, and then it appears like there's a pause. They're doing some detail work on accommodating really the irregularities in the flood wall to make the suspended sidewalk look very straight. So those are just some things that they're working through, some little adjustments in some of the metal. We have been assured in some meetings that they are very committed to providing, very utmost high quality results. So when that will be done, that's a good guess, but at least it's been started, and probably in a few months, hopefully by fall, we'll have a suspended sidewalk and pretty much at that point a completed North River Street. So it's looking hopeful. It's looking hopeful to see. We do get updates every Tuesday in our meetings with the contractor. But of course, they do not always know long in advance what's, where they're going to be. But I would say the progress has been quite good. So that's the update on the construction. So moving on to, I'll go into our hydrant flow hydraulic analysis study. This was generated, well, I guess approximately a year ago, that we've been approached by various entities looking at expanding housing availability here in Hot Springs. And one of the questions that I really felt needed to be answered, especially in the southwest quadrant of the city, is do we have enough water distribution capability at this point to potentially build 50, 100, possibly 100 or more new homes. So we had a hydraulic study, a hydraulic analysis done in 2007 and 2008. So we had a base model that they could build upon. And so the study was completed. It's been about 6 weeks ago now, I think, that it was completed. And I have a full analysis. And I think you were all given copies of that, is that correct? Okay. As far as the technical details of it, feel free to come anytime to my office if you'd like to, really, go, if you're interested, know what all this technical jargon is all about. The bottom line is that the system, and I am stressing the distribution system, is very robust. It could easily handle really what we have seen as foreseeable development in the near-term future. I mean, if somebody starts building something, 5 miles out of town, that's a whole different situation. But with the areas that have been discussed with us in the southwest quadrant of the community, the distribution system would be able to handle it. Now, there's another component that just need to make sure that everyone is aware of. Actually, we started looking into this issue over 15 years ago when we had a couple very hot, dry summers and Fall River water users was drawing a lot of water. And we had some days where our supply, our production of water, so that's different than distribution. Production is literally making the product, distribution is taking it to everyone. We had some times during the highest points of those years where we were running our pumps all but about 3 hours of the day. That, of course, is very, very close to maxing out. Leaves no headroom, leaves no redundancy, that if for some reason one of the pump stations would go down, if something would happen. Of course, at that point in time, we started discussions, had some studies done to determine if we would want to drill a third well or a third pumping station location. And some of you, I think, were on council some time back when we discussed this and having this on the state water plan. And the suggestion was made, a very good suggestion, that we consider expanding the pumping capability of our Evans pumping station, because that is an area with an extraordinary amount of water. So that is the direction we have started to go. But we need to do, and for the purposes of the state, and also possibly getting state funding, is we need to have a flow test completed to prove that that pumping station can indeed pump an extra 800 to maybe 1,000 gallons a minute than it does right now, without adverse effects on surrounding springs and the drawdown. So we're at the point now where we need to proceed with getting that study in here. And it's not really a huge project, but some of the piping in the pumping station will have to be temporarily changed so that we can actually turn on both pumps at the same time. We already have the pumps there, so it's not like we have to put it in a well or anything like that, but ultimately we would probably upsize the pumps that are there when we actually do this project. That's long-term future, because right now, we do not have a place, really a good place to send that extra water until we do the third tank, which is also long-term planning. So that's one more step. We've got the hydraulic study of the distribution system, and that has shown up very good, and that's really a relief to me that we can tell these people that, yes, the system will distribute water to you without a problem. Now we just need to look a little bit longer term and be able to have more storage and more production capacity. Sooner or later, those needs will be there. So that's pretty much the hydraulic study, the flow test. They flow tested a lot of hydrants throughout town. What they do is they'll open one hydrant, and then they'll have a pressure gauge on a hydrant that's about a block away. That is shown in the maps and diagrams, which ones were the, what they call residuals, which ones were the flow hydrants. And really everything throughout almost all of town really performed very well. The only places, as would be expected, that have somewhat low pressure are the very highest elevation points. And in a town with so much variety in elevation, that's actually quite good, that we really only have a few areas, and even they're not actually bad. So we don't have any place that shows up as, getting a D- of a grade. Everything really shows up very good. So it was a very good investment on our part to have that study done. It's now updated, we have fresh information, and we can, developers and interested parties, we can move forward with more confidence. So, any questions on that at this moment? Like I say, you're welcome to come see me anytime.
Was Mammoth Spring Editions in that test also?
Mammoth Springs?
Mammoth Springs Edition over there on the north side,
Oh, yeah, yeah, like my neighborhood?
up in that area,
Uh-huh.
up where I live.
Yeah, everything, yes, pretty much the entire system was evaluated at different corners and points of it. Yeah, they really did. They were quite thorough, and that is spelled out in in this set of documents. So, like I say, it's something that you could look over it, and if you do have questions, feel free to come and ask. I'll try to explain. Yeah, did it?
There's 3 hydrants mentioned that need service. Do they need service or replacement?
I would have to double check on that. Usually if it says serviced, it's just like a service. I mean, most of our hydrants, we prefer the Mueller, what are called the Mueller Centurion hydrants, because they have rebuild kits that are available. You do not have to replace the whole hydrant. A lot of other hydrants are more modular, or I guess that's a good term to use, somewhat like a lot of new appliances. You can't fix them anymore. You just have to replace the whole thing. So we've always been very specific in any projects that we will only accept the Mueller type. And they're the classic looking fire hydrants. They really are the ones that have that classic look. But they're also a very superior product. They're a little bit more expensive, but they can be rebuilt. So it's, yeah. But there again, really a good feedback on our system that, for the most part, with the exception of just 3 hydrants that need some service, that's very encouraging. It really is.
Where are those 3?
I would have to look, I'd have to look and see where they're at. Yeah, I'd have to go through the report and make note of where they're at, but that is, we'll have it on our list to have those taken care of. We do actually have a few very old hydrants in town, but almost done. So that's, very, very few old hydrants are left in Hot Springs. That's, which is good. Good thing. So I have one more subject, so if no further questions on that one. The last subject is regarding, it's a smelly subject. Odor emissions from our wastewater plant. So we have been working for, of course, over the last tremendous amount of repairs, improvements, upgrades, really to give the plant a new life. Most wastewater, in the wastewater industry, a wastewater plant usually is considered to have a lifespan of only about 25, maybe 30 years of the outside before you have to do a major overhaul or complete rebuild. Our plant is, as of this year, it's 40 years old. So we have truly given it new life. We've got a new trickling filter tank, we have, wet well was rebuilt, of course the digester lid has been replaced, the sludge press system has been installed, new lid for the, yeah, it's a long list. Well over, I know I had an estimate of $1.7 million, I think Misty did submit an addition, it's even more than that we've spent over the last 10 years. However, a completely new plant in today's world would probably be about 25 to 30 million, so if we've got some more life on it. However, wastewater plants do have odor issues. Of course, they all do. If they're failing, they have even more. Our plant is running correctly at this point. But there was a letter that was sent on behalf of a number of citizens here in the community to Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources that was a complaint about the odors and asking if the state could do anything. So I have had discussions with Tom Anderson and DANR. Odor in and of itself is not regulated, but that doesn't mean it's not insignificant. It's just that it's not specifically regulated. So for the last year or so, we have been using a biologic enzyme booster product, but we are going to use more of it. We've also, Jason and I have both been doing some research, and we are going to utilize potassium permanganate and some hydrogen peroxide, and also a small floating aerator that can go on our secondary clarifier. We can't have it on our primary clarifier because it has a sweeping skimmer that would probably wind up catching the thing and causing an issue. So we are going to look at these. These are changes or additions that require no specific changes. It's just a matter of getting the products, trying them out, seeing how they work. I did have a conversation this afternoon with a representative of South Dakota Rural Water. They have a wastewater and a drinking water consultant, and so we had a conversation. He said the things that we were looking at are, I took the words out of his mouth when he said, well, that's what I was going to tell you to try. So we're one step ahead in a sense that we're going to try those products and see what it does, see how it helps us. The problem we really truly have, which unfortunately is not easy to make go away, is the location of the plant. A lot of cities have more open, flat land where they can put a wastewater plant a little bit farther away, have it out in the open. Ours is down there, 200 feet from the highway, and it's in a valley. And so when you get the calm nights, the inversion sets up, it just traps that. It really does trap that air in that area. Of course, you hit the city limit sign, and it's that is very much a negative. So those are the steps we're going to take. So we should see some results in the next few weeks to really see if it does make a difference. And of course, comparative, we need to look at what it's like, literally do the sniff test on a calm, clear night when there's no wind, and those conditions that allow that to set up to see if we get an improvement. And finally, another topic that I have a scientific abstract that I've read through is the developing industry of biochar. This is a biological byproduct. How it's made is a high pressure, high temperature process. that creates a product that is capable of absorbing a lot of bacterial or odor-causing items. It's already available for soil enhancement, things of that sort. I've been scouring the internet, so to speak, looking to see if there was currently a product at this time commercially available for wastewater plants to use. Haven't found that yet, doesn't mean that it's not out there. This abstract was actually prepared in November of 2023. So it is a new and exciting development. If it is something that we could use, I think we'd be very interested in investigating the use of biochar. So at the moment, we're going to use products that we're able to get and actually, get on hand. But we're definitely going to keep our eyes on the biochar developments. So that's pretty much the update on the odor issue. So any questions?
I remember when that used to be so far out of town,
Yeah.
and it's not.
No, it's
It's
not.
in town now.
Unfortunately, the valley is definitely part of the issue. It really is. But we're going to do what we can with products that are available and also keep our eye on the biochar product as well. So, yeah.
But I appreciate you looking at the potassium permanganate and the hydrogen peroxide, because I know the potassium permanganate in a past life, I've used that, people I've worked with have used it to deodorize the odorant in propane, which is ethyl mercaptan, and that has a much lower odor threshold than what you're working with. So that's encouraging. That
Yeah.
might help us out.
We're hoping so. We are. Yeah. And the aeration of the secondary clarifier is well worth, to me, I mean, the product is relatively inexpensive and easy to use, and that should help. That should help too. Do all the things we can. And of course, there was mentioned, I think in that letter to DNR, it was mentioned, whoever had written that had said that the digester lid was not on yet. Well, it's been on for a year, so the state is fully aware that the digester lid is on because they did an inspection this winter, and they're fully aware of that. So they just, pretty much, so, not a problem.
Appreciate you chasing all those
Yeah, you're welcome.
different solutions, and it probably is going to be a combination of a lot of things that will take a piece of
Yeah.
the problem out.
And if we have a lot of wind, which fortunately we don't most of the time. Yeah, there's no smell down there right now.
Are we accepting the effluent from Hermosa yet?
It has slowed down immensely. They have caught up with their needs. I think in April, we only had about 5 or 6 loads. So that was a short-term thing that really
Really
helped.
short.
Yeah, it really was short. I thought maybe go longer. But I think there was pretty too much done. Maybe just a little bit more. So, okay.
Any other questions? I have one question, and then something I'd like to update the council on. Tracy, we had talked, you had spoken with Tom from DANR.
Yes.
And there isn't anything that's citable right now?
No. They're not going to give us a violation or anything. And especially where we just had an inspection that was very satisfactory. No, they routinely get letters of this nature. We're not the only town.
I just felt it was important to get that on public record.
Oh, yeah.
Council, I had sent out a list that Tracy had put together of updates to the plant since 2013. Tracy was talking about the digester lid. It had publicly been stated that if the city would put the digester lid on, that would certainly help the situation. So I'd just like to, again, read aloud in public the updates that have been done since 2013, so that they're on the record. In case anybody is wondering about any of these things, they can watch the minutes and see. So, in 2014, the trickling filter tank was replaced. In 2018, the installation of the sludge press after FAA recommendations. In 2020, the reconstruction of the wet well and subsequent replacement of the wet well pumps and the control panel. In 2022 through 2023, replacement and installation of the lid on the primary digester. And talking with Tracy, we're wondering if the statement from the public that if the city would just put the digester lid on, that would help the situation. Well, the old digester lid is laying on the property and it's not easily disposable. It's a rather large chunk of metal.
We would love to get rid of it.
To that public statement that if the city would just put the digester lid on, that happened in 2022 through 2023. The cost we were looking at for that one was around $281,000. In 2022 and 23, the secondary clarifier drive and center column was replaced. Other items have been the boiler circulation pumps, sludge pump, replacement of the heating unit in the main office building, with a lot of just other routine maintenance and repairs. The figure that you had on the list I sent to you was 1.7 million. Misty took a closer look at those numbers and added all the other associated costs, and she came up with a figure closer to $2.3 million that the city has spent on the wastewater treatment plant to get it to where it should have been. As Tracy said, average life is 25 to 30 years. This one's 37 years old.
40, now 40.
So I just, for the public, since 2014, there's been about $2.3 million put into the wastewater treatment plant. Thought it was important to get that out there.
How long do you think we've extended the life of the plant with these
Oh,
improvements?
15 or 20 years, really, before major things would need to be done again.
Right.
But the trickling filter tank, it will do what the other one did, unfortunately. Over time. Hopefully the wet well will not deteriorate. It's lined with like a polyethylene coating to totally, it's almost like a swimming pool, which I don't think you're going to swim in it. But it's very treated. The lid that's on that is all composite materials. The original one was metal, and it completely deteriorated. And it does have a ventilation system to help get the air out of there too. But nonetheless, like I say, the wastewater industry, wastewater is very, very hard on components. It doesn't matter what city you're in. And we're somewhat lucky in a way that we do not have industrial waste that comes into our system. That adds another dimension to wastewater treatment that can become quite complicated. Usually, it's even in our ordinance, if we have industrial waste, it has to be pre-treated at those facilities. But nonetheless, that adds, if you had a metal processing plant or a jewelry processing plant, they go through a lot of chemicals that can find their way into your system. So yes, hopefully, it should go for quite a while now. And of course, there's always the pumps, the relays, the switches, those things are just ongoing. But the major replacement items, we really have crossed all the boxes for a while. And the clarifiers, the original clarifier tanks actually date back to 1948, and they are in wonderful shape. The actual concrete itself. So they knew what they were doing. They made some good material.
Tracy, thank you for your update.
You're welcome.
And tell the water folks, job well done.
I will. I invited them. All right, thank you. Oh,
My contact. But they do have an industrial application, maybe they can help us.
Yeah, okay, so I did run across industrial ones, but specific for wastewater, because it would have to be on our clarifier surface, so with the skimmer and everything, have to know how it works.
But I didn't
Yeah, well, thank you.
want to.
Sure. All right.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Tracy, have a nice evening.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go back to new business. New business item D. Can I get a motion to approve, review and approve the 2023 annual report?
Make a motion to review and approve the 2023 annual report for the city of Hot Springs.
Discussion.
It was a long report.
Uh-huh.
Very
Yes.
thorough.
We're doing well. Misty and Barry will keep us on track. Thank you for that. All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business item E. Can I get a motion to review and approve, review and award the airport taxi lane construction project?
I make a motion to review and award the airport taxi lane construction project bid to low bidder Western Construction, Inc. in the amount of $275,127.20.
Second?
Discussion.
Sometimes I know that the lowest bid's not always the best bid. Is this, so all these were looked at?
Yes. And we put $144,000 in the budget this year for the various airport projects. This work, KLJ estimated that the approaches would cost $89,660. Western's estimate was $94,436.90. KLJ estimated the taxi lane extension to be $234,142. Western's estimate bid was $180,690.30, and the city's portion is 5% of that. So this brought us way under budget for this project. So the rest of the other portion of the airport work will be the resurfacing or the maintenance of the apron and runway, and that's a state DOT project. City administrator I think, has experience with this contractor, so this is not just, they've done this kind of work before. Bob, would you like to?
They're a very good contractor, dependable, they're all right today.
Yeah, and I think they're pretty much as soon as as soon as the feds release the money, I think they're pretty much ready to go to work. So, yeah, we're optimistic about this project.
The road there, right? Way to get to that building, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business item F. Can I get a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the notice of award and FAA grant application?
I make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the notice of award and FAA grant application as prepared by Airport Engineers KLJ to construct hangar taxi lane extension 383 feet by 25 feet, hangar approaches, non-AIP
Second.
Discussion?
This is the other, or I guess, step 2 of this project. First, what we just approved is the contract. This is the grant application to get the federal money to do the work.
Get them to pay the majority of the cost for it. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business item G. Can I get a motion to provide the pre-approval for the mayor and city attorney to sign the FAA grant agreement?
Make a motion to provide pre-approval for the mayor and city attorney to sign the FAA grant agreement to construct hangar taxi lane extension and approaches AIP 3-46-0020-016-2024. Total project cost anticipated at $454,436.90, with local funding estimated at $112,436.90.
Second.
Discussion? Well, this is the third part of the process, and the local funding estimate of $112,000. That's what Bill was talking about as council. For this year's budget, you approved $141,000?
144.
144 in anticipation of these two projects, so comes in much less than what we were expecting to pay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item H, can I get a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a settlement agreement and release in full of all claims?
I make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the settlement agreement and release in full all claims between Jason and Ivy Gutch and the city of Hot Springs, and the issuance of a quitclaim deed for real property legally described as that portion of the southeast quarter of the northwest quarter of section 24, township 7 south, range 5 east of the Black Hills Meridian, lying north of South Garden Street and between block 50 of the supplemental plat of the original town of Hot Springs and block 5 in the Stewart's second edition in the town, now city of Hot Springs.
Second. Discussion. So our attorneys hopefully will keep me straight here. But looking at your packets, the record of a survey, you can see what Anderson Engineer put together, the property that we're talking about was originally, well, the last I remember is that it was, the county shop was actually on that property. When it came in the hands of some new owners, and they wanted to officially identify what their property consisted of. There's a section in there that's an unknown, unnamed section adjacent to the Freedom Trail. And there was a concern that the city retain ownership in this transfer of our cart path, or our Freedom Trail. We didn't want that going with these new property owners. So that's what this process is about, is making sure that the right land gets transferred to them, and the city retains ownership of our Freedom Trail. And for me, what I highlighted is on page 2 of the agreement, paragraph 2. The parties expressly agree that that plat will not include the concrete trail known as the Freedom Trail in the property. The city agrees to work with Getch in finalizing the plat, and agrees that representative of Getch's may represent the city in front of Fall River County authorities in finalizing and obtaining approval of the plat. Getch agrees to bear the cost of platting the property. Did I bundle that too badly? Okay. So again, council, we've had a number of discussions with our attorneys about this particular property. This similar to the memorandum of understanding with the Shamanics is wrapping all of that up and getting your approval to move forward with that. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item I. I get a motion to set a public hearing on May 20th, 2024 at 7:10 p.m.
Make a motion to set a public hearing on May 24th, May 20th of '24, at 7:10 p.m. on the special sale alcoholic beverage license application from the Hot Springs Rotary Club for the 4th of July dance event on July 3rd, 2024 at Centennial Park, 275 North Garden Street.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business item J. Can I get a motion to set a public hearing on May 20th, 2024 at 7:15 p.m.?
I make a motion to set a public hearing on May 20th, 24 at 7:15 p.m. on the special sale alcoholic beverage license applications from the Hot Springs Chamber of Commerce for the Chamber Wine Walk events to be held on May 24th, 24 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the following location: the Hot Springs Makers Market at 108 South Chicago, Ace Hardware at 207 South Chicago, Changing Seasons at 323 South Chicago, Second Chances at 603 North River Street, Chautauqua Artisans Market, 629 North River Street, and Scoby Kombucha at 713 North River Street.
Sorry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business item K. Can I get a motion to review the request from Challenge Dakota doing business as Star Stripes and Steps and South Dakota Department of Transportation application?
Make a motion to review the request from Challenge Dakota doing business as Stars, Stripes, and Steps and the South Dakota DOT application for a permit to occupy the right-of-way during their annual Stars, Stripes, and Steps stair climbing race on 5/27/24 from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Discussion?
Yeah. That street they want to do that on, is that going to interfere with the construction in any way at all?
The detour that goes past there, yeah.
I think they're gonna use the pedestrian bridge.
I guess I'm not visualizing this very well.
Well, it used to be, if I'm correct, it used to be at Minnetonka and River Street.
Right.
And I think because of the construction, they're gonna move it to the pedestrian bridge there at the park. If I'm correct, I'm not sure.
Yep.
So looking at their application, Larry, they're talking about from Taco John's, close the northbound shoulder to vehicle traffic from Taco John's to 13046 Fall River Road, a little more than a half mile. Portion of Star Stripes half marathon, enters private land and returns on shoulder to town approximately 10 right. So what I'm looking at is they are actually on the south end of town where it's already completed.
No, okay, I just wanted to clarify.
I'm the error, I thought it was north.
I think the park near Taco John's is what they needed DOT's approval for.
Right.
I do think they start at Centennial.
Mayor. Everybody, I'm good.
All right.
Go figure it out.
Okay, yes.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item L, can I get a motion for an automatic budget supplement of $374.44 to the general fund police departments?
Make a motion for an automatic budget supplement of $374.44. General fund police department vehicle repairs budget 101-42100-42510 for windshield repair of 2016 Dodge Charger, VIN number 4067, caused by the July 18th, 23 hailstorm. Revenue received from SDPAA claim GC 2023115935.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item M. Can I get a motion for an automatic budget supplement of $10,480.54 for wastewater fund improvements other than buildings?
I make a motion for the automatic budget supplement of $10,480.54 to the wastewater fund improvements other than building, 604-43250-43300 for the eligible expense reimbursements related to the sewer and water main replacement project. Grant reimbursement received from CDBG grant number 1919-107-15.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business item N. Can I get a motion for an automatic budget supplement of $2,836.62 to the water fund building repairs?
Make a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $2,836.62 to the water fund building repairs, 602-4350-42550 for $1,001.62, and water repairs and maintenance for $1,835 for repairs of the water fill station caused by the break-in and theft on 1/31/24. Revenue received from SDPAA claim GC 2024-118079.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item O. Can I get a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $12,705.04 to additional sales tax fund professional services?
Make a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $12,705.04 to additional sales tax fund professional services, 212-21200-42200 for construction administration and observation of the 10-unit T reimbursement revenue received from AIP grant funding number 3-46-0022-015-2021.
Second.
Pick one of them, Ariel.
I picked Hal.
Thank you.
He was closer.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. We remove new business item P, so that takes us to new business item Q. Can I get a motion to approve a travel training request from wastewater maintenance operators Daniel Little and Trent Allen?
I make a motion to approve travel training request from wastewater maintenance operators Daniel Little and Trent Allen to attend the Western Dakota Technical College Class B CDL training course in Rapid City on 4/29 through 5/2.
Second.
Discussion? So council, you probably picked up on the fact that you're being asked to approve training that's already been received. Along with this, you folks had approved paperwork to have these folks sign that they will stay employed. I believe it's for 2 years, Ariel?
Yep. I'd have to look at it. We passed it on that one, but
Yep.
it's 2 years.
That's 2 years. And if they don't stay employed, then they reimburse the city for the cost of this training. The reason that we went ahead and sent them to school is that Western Dakota contacted the city to let us know that they had a couple openings ahead of this council meeting. So it seemed appropriate to go ahead and send the folks and ask for your permission afterwards, knowing that if they don't stay employed with the city for 2 years, they're going to reimburse us for the cost anyway. So that's why it's here now. We couldn't get it to you before the openings became available at Western Dakota. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business, item R. Can I get a motion for a travel training request for police officer Sherelle Hughes?
I make a motion to approve travel training request for police officer Sherelle Hughes to attend the Advanced Sexual Assault Investigations course in Vermillion, South Dakota on May 20th, 2024.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Before we get on to the committee reports, from time to time, I'd just like to remind the public that the reason we ask the council to read these motions in their entirety comes from a previous attorney's recommendation that if the public's only exposure with these council meetings is by watching them on the video, and we simply make a motion to approve new business item N or new business item O, they're not going to know what it is that council is being asked to approve. So that's the reason that previous attorneys have advised us that we should read this in their entirety. Although it gets long, but in the public's best interest, that's why we do it. All right, so that takes us to our committee reports. First committee report, Admin and Finance, JR and Melissa.
The next admin finance is next Monday, the 13th, 1 p.m. here at the Mueller Civic Center. All are welcome to attend.
Thank you. Airport Advisory, Bill?
Okay, Airport Advisory met Thursday, May 2nd, 8:30 a.m. at the airport. Present were Shane Miller, Gary Telkamp, Mark Boxbaum. Employees present were Ivan Venner, Tracy Bastian, and KLJ engineer Charlie Baker. Elected officials were myself. Airport tenants were Southern Hills Aviation, Ray Campbell. Members of the public were Josh Scott and Shedco Executive Director Andrea Powers. Communications from the public, there was an appreciation for the efforts going forward for advancing the airport. T-Hangar update, we reviewed the 20878 site observation report. Punch list has been provided to High Country erectors. Grading work has been completed on the approaches and the taxi lane and is awaiting the final compaction testing. Door seal trim pieces, adjustment, and entry door handles change out and cleanup remains to be completed. Due to the delay, the seating will be removed from the project and put in the taxi lane project to avoid paying for the work twice. Taxi lane project update. We reviewed the letter of recommendation for the award and all the other documents that we just approved. Monthly fuel sales, we sold 657 gallons in April. We had estimated 45 flight operations. We had 5 balloon launches and 0 landings. We've already talked about the airport fuel prices. Through April, the airport has expended 24.31% of its budget through 33.3% of the year. Under observations, opportunities for improvement, the grass around the hangars is extremely stressed and may need to be reseeded if it doesn't come back this summer. There was no old business. Under new business, we reviewed the minor changes to the courtesy car policy. The use of the courtesy car will be limited to a 10-mile radius around the airport for no more than 4 hours. Number 2, the South Dakota DOT Capital Improvement Plan meeting on May 29th in Rapid City will be attended by Charlie Baker from KLJ, as well as the finance officer and airport manager. Discussions and update of the airport capital improvement plan will be provided to the FAA and South Dakota DOT. The FAA notice of funding opportunity and additional airport grant funding for AWAS 3 weather system. KLJ has applied for this grant for the AWAS 3 project. If the grant is received, the AIP entitlement funds designated for AWAS 3 can be applied to another project. Andrea Powers was present to discuss a potential business park in the southeastern Zone B of the airport property. Zone B is a non-aeronautical portion of the property. She will need a minimum of 10 acres if possible. She may ask for more for future development. The committee supports the development of such a business park. The meeting adjourned at 10:05 a.m. and our next meeting is Thursday, June 6th at 8:30 a.m. at the airport. Any questions?
How many courtesy cars do we got?
We currently have 3.
What's their conditions? Better.
They're courtesy cars.
They're seasoned.
Very seasoned.
Okay.
As you might expect, something with 200,000 miles on it. Something that you would gladly use for free, but gripe like crazy if you had to pay for it.
Like my Subaru. Thank you, sir.
And the
Any other questions?
the limit is 10 miles.
10 miles from the airport, which means you can get to Hot Springs and back.
We consider a ridiculous offer for them if you're willing to make one.
Sir? I can make 10 miles.
Any other questions for Bill? Thank you. Custer, Travis isn't with us for Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management. Historic Preservation, Deborah.
Historic Preservation met May 1st, 5 p.m. at Mueller Center. Present were Pat Like, Brian Crawford, Carl Hall, Kara Hagan, Scott Sobe, myself. Members of the public were Tim Tesher, Joe Nicochia, I hope I didn't mess up that name too much, Luke Royals, and Jeff Alley. New business, Jeff Alley was there for new signage request at 106 South 3rd Street, which is the part of the building, the old Vision Source building that faces University Avenue. For Aspen Pine Realty. It's a non-contributing building to the historic district. One sign will be on the face of the building and the other sign will be perpendicular to the building, hanging out. Kara motion to approve and it was seconded by Carl and the motion carried. Joan Nekachia was there representing the Evans Apartments. She actually manages Brookside. She was there to discuss about having she did have an energy audit of the Evans, and they failed. They need new windows throughout. She's seeking a $2.3 million grant to replace all the windows in the building. She sought multiple contractors and found only one willing to take on the job. They have not been able to get her the samples yet for the last 3 months, and she'll be bringing those to the next commission meeting if she has them by then. She states that the framing will have to be done on site for each window because they're all different measurements. Under old business, the introduction of our new city administrator, Bob Nelson Jr., will happen someday. Historic property owner's guide is still in progress. Deadwood Grant Fund grant opportunity for the city of Hot Springs is being followed up by our city administrator. Info is pending on that. CLG grant project options, in-kind forms are being filled out monthly with prospects of future grant allocations. More discussion of the Seven Sisters Mountain Range designation as a point of interest. We still need any history that anyone knows how they were named or anything about them. This is ongoing in conjunction with the Parks and Rec Committee. The Springs Hotel kiosk building, additional structures. Scott Sobey has yet to get in touch with them about making them more congruous with the rest of the building. The River Channel retaining barrier wall in front of the Springs Hotel is ongoing as the railing is removed from the River Channel as the suspended sidewalk project progresses. The deterioration by neglect update. Bob Jr. is in communications with Deadwood Historic Preservation Commission for whatever assistance and coordination that can be worked out. So those things take a while to progress. And then HS Historic website update. There's an update on the Save Our Sandstone website, walking QR code tour. If you go under historichotspringsSD.com, we've got 10 of the buildings updated. Previously, it was just the architecture information on there, but we're trying to integrate all of the information from the Helen McGee historic room that tells when the building was built, who built it, the contractor, where the stone, what quarry the stones came from, if we can find that, and then a progression of all the businesses that have been in that building throughout its lifetime. And so that's progressing, and the plan is to get transparencies to put onto each of the buildings' front windows, so you can focus your camera on the QR code and it takes you to the website, and you can get a walking tour that way. And someone did mention down at the Fargo building that they would like one for the castle, the Feld Castle, to be in their window, because everyone's always saying, what's that? So we might have to make 2 of them for that purpose. So those things will go along as they progress. And then discussion as to if we wanted to continue pressing for legislative changes for the Deadwood funds, and the answer was yes. Communications with State Representative Trish Ladner was reestablished last week by several HPC members. And in light of Bob Jr.'s efforts, we will encourage Trish and Bob to communicate the issue together if there can be something that they both sort of funding to be able to function with on a regular basis. The meeting adjourned at 6:30 PM. The next meeting is June 5th, 5 PM at the Mueller Center. And we still need a couple volunteers willing to join the commission. We have some openings.
Any questions for Deborah? Bob, the historic preservation portion of it, would you like to respond to that now, or do you want to do that in your city administrator report as far as updates on conversations you've had?
So I've had one meeting with the Historic Preservation Officer to discuss how we can establish a partnership between the two cities to preserve this community and its history. Seems optimistic, but trying to hone him in on a fast path isn't there yet, but I'm continuing to work with him. He has provided a couple of options, but those are difficult. What we really need here is a seed, something to start.
And they're certainly anxious to meet you in person. Okay. Luke, I'm looking at the email that you sent. I don't disagree with anything that you have in it. When it comes to just how long is it going to take us to get something done, is the heart of what I see in your email when it comes to demolition by neglect. I remember, I think it was you that put us on to that particular codified law, demolition by neglect, and we had talked about how excited I was that we can find somebody $500 a day per violation that, meets that particular statute. And Garland struggled with how to do that. Our new attorneys have been working with us. We're making more progress. One comment that I remember one of them making is that particular statute has never been tested in court before. There hasn't been anybody that's the actual demolition by neglect is so we're not ignoring it.
Okay.
I don't have an answer I'm happy giving you. I just want to let you know where we're at, and that it's something we have been working on, trying to figure out the right way to get it done, and get it done, the first time rather than just on and on and on. And I appreciate the work our new attorneys have, been putting into this. They're getting us closer than we've been before. I suspect that's not the good answer that you were hoping for.
Maybe nothing.
Well, that depends. If it's the same answer 2 years from now, then it's probably a nothing answer. But we're working as best we can to try to get something done. Again, as you and I talked about, and I think other meetings with historic preservation, looking at if we could find 5 or 6 violations per day, that gets pretty expensive quick. That was my hope, but that is also not necessarily the legal advice that we're getting to have that many. But we're working it. And obviously, can't share the details of what we're working, but we are working it.
Mayor? You lost me. Was this in relation to something that Deb was talking about in our report, or is some new information that wasn't on the agenda?
The demolition by neglect issue on the two
Okay.
buildings.
All right. You lost me there, and you started talking about an email from the general public, and I'm like, what? What happened?
Yep.
I mean,
Because
it's working very well.
Luke had put the question to me about demolition by neglect.
Okay.
So,
All right,
because
thank you.
Deborah had mentioned it, that, they were looking at it.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss something.
I wanted to take the advantage while Luke is here to tell him in person rather than try to put something together in an email.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Evans Pledge Advisory. Linda?
The Evans Plunge Advisory committee will meet this Thursday, May 9th at noon. Oh, at the Evans Point.
Thank you. Parks Recreation, Linda?
Well, Larry and I are gonna share this thing.
I give her the brunt of it.
The meeting, you didn't put the date down, Larry? The meeting
May
met
1st.
May 1st at 2 PM here at the Mueller Civic Center. In attendance from the public were Jason Midgley, Jim Rocher, is that how you pronounce his name?
Roger.
Yeah. Tim Kesher, Jason Osborne, Jason Getch, Brenda Gamache, Gerald Culligan, Alderwoman Deb Johnson. Committee members were Bart Sig, Gabby Martin, Caitlin Mossett, Chris Katke, Larry Pratt, and myself. The cemetery update is they have ongoing trimming of the foliage up there. In the parks, we have regular maintenance of the parks, the sprinklers, bathrooms, and trimming of foliage is ongoing. Recreation update, she has registration for summer activities on the sports engine with different activities will be posted. Some are new, some are returning programs. In the Mueller Civic Center auditions, we're beginning today for the Missoula Children's Theater at 4:30 p.m., which I hope we have a good turnout for. And Chris would like to recognize the Springs Lodge for donating rooms to the Missoula Children's Theater. This will be the second time they have contributed to this program for the people that come and hold this event. The Energize Conference will be May 22nd and 23rd, Wednesday and Thursday, and we are waiting on the skylights to be put in. And then we have a Keep Hot Springs Beautiful report. On April 19th and 20th, we held our 17th annual Earth Day rummage sale. Thank you to Chris and Carl at the Mueller Civic Center for helping us make it a success. It was our best sale yet, and we have far less items left at the end of the day than in recent years. Out of the items that were left, we were able to donate a lot of items to the Book Barn, Battle Mountain Humane Society, and Fall River Thrift. That way, other organizations can make profits off of what we couldn't. The proceeds from the Earth Day rummage sale will help cover some of the costs of replanting our pods. This Saturday, May 4th, is our 18th annual Great American Cleanup. Groups from the school, Boys and Girls Club, 4-H, Fall River Health Services, Rotary, Save Our Sandstone, and more, as well as any willing local residents will work their way through town, picking up litter along the roads and alleys, as well as in Fall River. Last year, we had 93 volunteers who collected 7 pickup loads, beds full of litter and debris. This event starts at 8 a.m. at Centennial Park if anybody wants to join in. Replanting efforts continue in the bump outs. City crews installed boulders in 4 more corners last week. We have 2 corners that we are still working on locking down volunteers for, but we do have interested parties. This Saturday is typically the kick-off to bump out weekend. Volunteers are chomping at the bit to start planting, so expect to see lots of plants going in over the next week. Once the road work next to Glass Pro Plus is done, boulders will get placed in that corner. That will be it for boulder replacement until we begin work on the 6th Street median. Since we didn't expect to have that released until fall, we don't plan to do any planting in it before then. Instead, focusing on getting all of the smaller bump outs filled and back to normal. Shelley and I will get on Tracy's schedule mid to late May, and we'll work with him to design the sprinkler system layout and decide on the tree placement. Your turn, Larry.
On new business, the Seven Sisters Point of Interest interpretive site, the city manager is currently working on research of the history of the range. He is trying to obtain a quality photo of the range from a distance to use on interpretive channel. I've reached out to a citizen in town, and she's gonna take several photographs, and she's gonna present it to the city administrator, sort of which one that you want to decide for the background on that. The estimated cost of the interpretive panel is gonna be $1,960. He plans to ask Deadwood Historic Preservation to pay as a public education item. He has begun discussion with the South Dakota DOT on the turnout. On the Rob Mason Memorial Bench plaque at Chautauqua, there's no update as of yet. The community garden and the report coming, no information as of yet. At Chautauqua Park, the stairs repairs, he asked the committee to give him permission to obtain quotes to repair the stairs. The committee was okay with that. The Mueller Center and Butler Park soccer fields, the city staff will do grading repairs with topsoil to the soccer field at Mueller Center for safety of the players. We would also like to work on the Butler Park soccer field so the high school soccer team can play at Butler Park. This will involve hauling material to the site, grading and seeding. On the tree grant update, Lori probably knows more than he does, he's saying, but I have had the opportunity to drive around town on my bus route, and I've seen them start on the north side, and they've come down on the south side, down by the Evans. They're doing a bang-up job. They're removing a lot of foliage, they're removing a lot of dead stems, hauling off a lot of material, so I think they're doing a great job. On the pickleball court resurfacing update, Jason said the weather permitting, once that weather gets good, they'll start the project on a nice sunny day that they can stay with, consistent with putting down the material. In the Butler Park baseball fields, an update, the batting cage move is going to happen when baseball is ready. Additional gravel has been added to the infield of the new Little League field. An irrigating public access area along Fall River adjacent to Centennial Park. Tracy is designing a layout right now for that particular project. On School Street Park, inclusive playground planning, another vendor has been brought to the table for design and cost, awaiting proposals. The Sheldons have been having success with their fundraisers, and I believe they're gonna have another fundraiser in June, is that what the understanding was, Bob?
Yeah,
I think it was, yeah. And Jason Gash, Shrag Grass Volleyball Court. The location has been determined, and city staff will be installing the poles in the near future. Jason was happy about that. Public comment, Jason Midgley is working on a grant for windscreens, working on money for resurfacing of basketball court. The Youth Soccer Association festival will be May 11th at Butler Park. I think what they want to do is they want to work in tandem with other programs that are coming to town. We tethered balloons. Last time was at Butler Park or at the golf course, something like that. The Youth Soccer Association gave kudos to Gabby for all her hard work she has been doing. Brenda Gametti presented to the committee the mural for the wall across from the balloon mural. She will meet with the city administrator and will be put on the June Parks agenda June the 5th. Gerald Colligan inquired about basketball poles, was told the holes were drilled, asked about cattails, suggested they be burned. Informed the committee the basketball lights were not working. Bart will look into the problem. Meeting adjourned at 2:53. Next meeting will be June 5th here at the Mueller Center. And that's all I got.
Any questions for Larry?
I had a question about the mural plan. Are there two different plans for that? I'm wondering about, because hot air balloon people are also raising money for that, so, and I thought they had another plan too, so I'm just wanting to make sure there's not confusion as to two different plans going forward.
This ideal has been presented before Diane Gross passed away from cancer, I believe last year. And it was brought to you, I believe you were there with that one, Mayor. And it was presented, the committee at that time, we'd given a report, and it was a recommendation for that particular group, that it was gonna be put on that mural over there, okay? That committee has since then dissolved. If you can bring me up to speed on this, Bob Junior, I appreciate this, a little help in the conversation. But that committee has since then been dissolved. Brenda has come back and presented the ideal of this once again. I believe you had a meeting with her today. I'll let you finish up the rest.
And she's gonna bring it at the next Parks and Rec committee meeting. I believe it's similar rendering to what she had already gotten through committee before.
And what you're talking about, nobody's come before Parks and Rec has asked about that. So at this point, Brenda's only one step forward. I also understand because they're dissolving the group, that the money that was presented by the Macaulay Foundation had to be returned back to them. That's about the only information I can give you right now.
Is the plan that Brenda has talked with you about, Bob, still a balloon themed mural?
No.
This was the one that had historical, with the red rock behind it, the Evans, the old railroad station, the jail.
It was
She
the
had that
Gillespie,
long,
the Gillespie Hotel. And
she had that long picture that she had presented in front of the group.
Because I had seen a rendering of a, other hot air balloon on that side, so that's why I was confused.
That's what Diane and Petra Wilson were working on, was a balloon themed mural
Yeah.
on the north wall of University.
And they're the ones that were raising the money with the hot air balloon walk-ins and whatnot, so.
Okay.
I have a question for Lucifer and Amy. How much money did they make at that sale?
Oh, at the Earth Day sale? I don't think she said.
She didn't.
She
No.
didn't say how much was there.
No.
Okay. And what did the hold up with Rob Bench?
Right now, he's trying to get the kids together to have that conversation. He's not having much.
Rob's trying.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, bud.
Larry, you had talked about stair repairs.
Yes.
Update me on that again?
These are the lower stairs that go down by the little river at Chautauqua Park.
Okay.
What was it, the original flagstone type things, it was gonna be hard to get those.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think what we discussed at the committee meeting was to perhaps replace the flagstone that's breaking apart with stamped cement. Stamped and dyed.
Stained.
Yeah, stamped and
Stained,
stained.
very
cement.
stained.
It'll be good.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have one for? oh, Planning and zoning. Deborah?
Planning and zoning meets, Wednesday, the 15th, 6 PM at City Hall.
Thank you. Public safety, Bill, JR?
Public safety met, excuse me, public safety met on Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, 2 PM at the Hot Springs Library Conference Room, 2005 Library Drive. Members present were Alderman Bill Lukens, Alderman J.R. Huddleston, Alderwoman Deborah Johnston, Alderman Larry Pratt, Mayor Bob Nelson, Chief Ross Norton, City Safety Coordinator Lori Sherrard, members of the public, Gary Telkamp. Adoption of the agenda was adopted as published, and communications from the public. 2 issues were brought out from calls received from the public. Food trucks and trailers at Big Bats potentially obstruct the view of traffic on eastbound Jensen Highway. Chief Norton will contact Big Bats to discuss the issue. Second issue is parking lot north of the depot available for public parking? And if so, can the contractors utilize it in such a way that more parking is available to the public? Concern will be discussed with the contractors. Update from the police department. Chief Norton presented a weapons upgrade proposal. The proposal would modify and install red dot optics on the department-issued Glock Model 17S, procure short-barreled long guns equipped with suppressors, and modify 2 of the existing AR-15 long guns to training guns. The handgun portion of the proposed project will address potential issues of officers using non-department issued handguns, improve accuracy and ensure interchangeability of magazines during an incident. The long gun portion will enhance officer safety by enabling safer tactics for room clearing protection, protecting officers' hearing, and allow for maintaining verbal communication without the adverse impact of impact noise. Converting 2 of the existing long guns to the training guns will enhance active shooter and enforce on-force training. The estimated cost for the entire proposal is about $25,000, which would need to be funded by a supplemental appropriation. Insurance funds from the 2023 hail damage claims that were not utilized for vehicle repairs could be considered as a source of the project, though these funds are part of the general fund unassigned fund balance. The Public Safety Committee recommends the council fund this project going forward with the proposal and asks that this be placed on the next council agenda, 5/2024. The April call data was not available at the time of the meeting. Through April, the PD has consumed 31.15% of their budget through 33.33% of the year. Old business, status of the 7 items on the action item list were not reviewed due to time constraints with a special council meeting that followed the committee meeting. New business, there were no new business items on the agenda. We adjourned at 2:53 p.m. Next meeting is Thursday, June 6, 2 p.m., Mueller Civic Center Conference Room. Again, we ask that weapons issue, $25,000, be placed on the next council meeting, 5/2024. Subject to your questions.
Bill, anything like that?
No, covered it well.
Council, any questions? January, you mentioned about contractors parking in the north lot of the depot. When I went down there today, there weren't any contractors parked in there, and we'll have the same discussion tomorrow with the contractors.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Public Works. Bill? Al?
Yep. Viva held on April 30th at 1 p.m. here at the Viva Center. Members present were myself, Trevor Johnson, Bill Lukens, Mayor Bob Nelson, City Administrator Bob Nelson Jr., Public Works Engineer Terry Baskin, Water Department Foreman Jason Correll, Street Department Foreman Billy Morrow, City Mechanic Adam Burleson. Members of the public present were Gary Telkamp. There were no communications from the public. The business items with a value drainage. In order to properly and effectively address the surface water drainage issues in the Valley View subdivision, an assessment district is being explored. We're getting a quote for engineering cost estimate for drainage, curb and road servicing of $67,750 has been obtained, assuming the engineering cost will be 10% of the construction cost, and the overall project estimate would be at least $700,000. An assessment district is being considered because of significant ongoing costs of maintenance of the existing roads and drainage issues. Engineering costs would be paid by the city upfront, and costs could probably be included in the overall cost of the assessment district. Next step is to initiate contact with the impacted property owners to determine interest in an assessment district. The committee reviewed recommendations and quotes for flood wall repairs. 2 quotes were received, one for $45,253.75, The second for $24,021 from Competitive Masonry. Other firms were contacted but didn't submit a quote. The committee recommends proceeding with Competitive Masonry quote and proposal. A citizen had contacted a committee member requesting a street light at the 500 block of Bear Avenue. Streets Department foreman will investigate and determine if the request can be accommodated. A proposal was submitted to committee to apply mag wire to the following gravel roads: Valley View, South 6th Street, 1200 Estates, Eli Avenue, the north portion of Mockingbird Drive, and Garden Street. Estimated cost is approximately $8,800. The committee supports the project and recommends it be funded by the future supplemental appropriation. The street department foreman and mechanic were present to discuss the issues with the 2002 624H skid loader. The engine is unrepairable and a rebuild is not recommended. New and used lease purchase options will be provided to the committee at a future meeting for consideration. The city administrator provided equipment and funding details for the dehydration equipment in City Hall, which will work to preserve the sandstone structure. Equipment cost is $15,000. A Deadwood grant has been received for $7,500. The remainder of the cost is covered by budgeted funds. The committee also recommends we proceed with that project. Departmental summaries, code enforcement. Letters from the code enforcement specialists have been sent to identify violators. There was no update from the water department. Wastewater department, the DANR received petition regarding odor from the WWTF. DNR does not regulate odors, so there was no violation associated with the complaint. Solutions are being investigated for the odor issue. Inspections looking for presence of grease separators were completed at all restaurants. Only one facility has one. Developmental coordinator will follow up on this compliance issue. The WWTF foreman provided an update on the lead pump control panel replacement plan. The public engineers continue to follow the road construction issues. Streets Department was assessed for equipment needed to apply plastic street markings for the new roadways in preparation for the 2025 budget. Active and inactive project information has been updated and can be found in the current public works report on the city website. Next meeting will be May 28th at 1 p.m. here at the Beauty Center.
Bill, anything to add?
That covered it.
Council?
That street light on Bear Avenue, is it on private property or are they going on the street? Because those street lights, I think, will fall into jurisdiction of the electric company.
I think that came up.
I know there's one that's put down there on Thompson Avenue, on the corner going up the hill, and that was put in by the electric company.
So to update you on that, Billy got in touch with me and he went up and talked with the property owner, and there's a light at each end of Bear Avenue, a street light already. The property owner wanted the light for their own personal use. In the city, what I told Billy is that the city's not in the business of providing street lights for every property owner that wants them. Billy checked with Black Hills Energy, told Billy that if a property owner wants their own street light, they'll certainly install it, and the cost is typically $15 to $20 a month. So that one's off our radar. Any other questions? All right. Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory will meet next Monday at 6 o'clock at the clubhouse. And before we move out of these committee reports, I want to go back to historic preservation. I forgot to mention to Deborah that I meet with Joanne on Thursday. She's the lady who expressed an interest in being put on historic preservation. So she's going to meet on Thursday and
Excellent.
talk about it.
That's the Joanne. Yeah.
Okay.
She seems to have some historic background.
Mayor, before we do go out of committee reports, she's kind of like Mayor.
And she's a structural engineer also.
Before we do get out of committee reports, Ariel, have we got members for the cemetery board yet?
Not that I know of.
I just want to bring that to light just in case. Thank you, Mayor.
Old ladders are starting to fail. We'll see if we can get to the end of this meeting quickly.
You say full or old?
Ah,
Last Exodus.
City Administrator report. Bob, do you have anything for us?
Nothing new to report, sir.
Not before or after we lost members? Ariel, anything from Finance Officer? All right. Well, I don't have anything for you either, so it looks like they might have left a little early. Can you get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone.